Good morning, Mortgage Coach members. My name is Lori Lytle, and I'll be hosting your Introduction to Edge. What we're going to be doing is we're going to create a total cost analysis on a purchase transaction. You'll see on the screen the type of report that we're going to create. We're going to create an FHA product as well as a conventional product. When we go through the screens, we'll be able to create a fee and product template. So developing these two products, I'll be able to show you the MI screens as well as developing your fee templates. To be able to start our process, what I want you to do is log into Edge, and let's start over. I would like you to join us for creating this report. In the chat box, I had just dropped in the link for Edge. If you click on that, you'll be able to, it will open up to a new tab, and you'll be able to log into your Edge account and follow along with me and create a report. At the end of this call, what I would like you to do is take the link for the report, email it to us, and we could review it and provide you any additional feedback. So first off, I would like to know, please raise your hand if you're going to be following along with me and creating an Edge report. So if you could go ahead and provide that to me through GoToMeeting, just raise your hand. Okay, that's great. We'll have a few people following along with us. So what I would like you to do is log into your Edge account, put in your email address and your password. If you're unable to log in, go ahead and use the question box into GoToMeeting, and I would like you to just go ahead and say need login, and they'll be able to get your login ID for you. So now what we're doing is we're coming into Edge, and we're going to go ahead and create a report. The first thing I would like you to do when you get into your Edge account is click on the Help button. When you click on the Help button, it will bring you into a new tab to our knowledge base. In our knowledge base, we have very many video tutorials walking you through how to create the individual reports. Here's one for purchase, one for refinance, how to do an FHA loan. We also have a great video tutorial, how to read the TCA. I encourage you to review this at a later time. With this, it will go ahead and provide you with most of our video tutorials. We have two links. We have a YouTube link, but for some of those companies who have the YouTube link blocked, we do have a direct download for you to be able to use. So moving on, I just want to be able to show, okay, I'm all logged into the account. So you'll be able to use the knowledge base as well as the search engine here. I just want to be able to show you there is a search engine. So if you type in the words MI to get any information about mortgage insurance, type it into that search engine, and all the video tutorials that associate with mortgage insurance will display. So now let's go into, or the last thing I want to do is, if you notice at the very top of that page, it says click here to access our coaching call archive. If you click on that, besides our web page, we also have it in our knowledge base. So we have all the coaching calls that we've held in the past, plus our Thursday trainings. But I also want to point out to you, we're also going to be we have a training for 16 weeks of training where we're providing different strategies. We're going to be posting those up here as well. So when you look through it, you have right here was our success strategy, which we held on Wednesday. And that's how to use the mobile app to present open house flyers and rent versus own reports to the realtors. So this will walk you through more or less how to use that mobile app and make the connection with realtors. So let's go ahead and log into Edge in the home screen here that we're viewing. Upper section is for the client-facing reports. That's your total cost analysis and rent versus own. This lower half is for your partner-facing reports. This is for your open house flyer as well as your seller buy down. The process we're going to do is we're going to start a new record by pressing New Client. When we have finished with our data input, we're going to go into our settings and take a look at our fee tabs and our product tabs and go through our contact information. So if you can, go ahead and click on New Client. With this, we have 8 screens in our wizard to go through. The first 4 is capturing data, so it's a data collection for your conversation. The way Edge was created was to be able to use on the phone, gather up the information from your conversation, and follow a flow of a conversation. So not all the fields are necessary in Edge. What I'm going to do is go through and provide you the input of creating the report the quickest and the least amount of fields. So going through, let's go ahead and put in a first name. I'm going to go ahead and put in Sam. My last name I'll put in Sample. I wanted to point out there's two buttons at the top of the screen, Individual Marketing. If you want to create a marketing report, if you click on Marketing, you'll have one line item for your report headline. If you click on Individual, you'll have the name, first, middle, and last name to use. Marketing's great. I showed a webinar on comparing mortgage insurance. Great marketing report. Be able to use Edge both as marketing as well as individual. Moving through, we have a partner email address field. What this field allows you to do, if you're working with a partner, you want them to receive an email alert along with you, you'd be able to put in their email address in here. If you have a secondary email address, go ahead and key that in, and then you'll be able to see how that process works. If you don't have a secondary email, you can always put support at Mortgage Coach to use that. This does bring out a display button in our presentation screen at the very end. Friendly name field, this is a great field to be able to reference your report. This is, you're able to do copies of your report, so if you've created a great marketing report, want to just change it slightly, you're able to create a copy of that record and not have to re-enter all that data. So reference, the friendly name field is your reference name, and you'll be able to identify what that file is. In this particular case, I'm using the word purchase. You know, say if you're doing multiple loans for a borrower, you can put in purchase, investment, you know, just identify that report itself. Moving to the right through the arrow on the middle, in the middle of the screen, you'll see that once you start moving through Edge, in the middle of the screen on the left and right, you do have arrows that will go ahead and advance you forward and back in the screen. And that also initiates our Save button. So that's how you save the data. So now we're in our goal screen, and the only button you really have to worry about is Purchase a New Home. This will provide you purchase screens. If you leave it empty, you'll have refinance screens. You can also go ahead and mark lower interest rate if you want to just be able to trigger between purchase and refi. That's fine as well. But just to let you know, on this screen, if you're doing a purchase, mark purchase. The other fields here, again, is that data collection. So you want to be able to talk with the borrower, be able to use Edge to its fullest, and you'll be able to ask these questions and be able to keep them in your Edge account. On the right-hand side, we have a notes section. And in this notes section, you'll be able to put any type of notes for your file. You know, in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and I can't copy it. You can put any kind of notes. Let me see if I can get that in here. Nope, I can't. So in the notes section, instead of copying, I'm going to go ahead and type. And it's not letting me type either. So let me see when we move on. This notes section here is allowing you to put any kind of notes for your report. You'll be able to keep it running. If you have an assistant, they'll be able to see those notes. None of the notes here appear on the report. They're for internal use only. So feel free to go ahead and key that information in here. Okay, Doug, you state that you're unable to see my entire screen. Let's go ahead. I am on quite a big monitor. If you'd be able to let me know, I'm modifying my screen now. How does that look? Is it any better? Okay, great, Doug. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so now we're moving off from our goal screen, and we're going to go into our assumptions. In the assumption screen here, you want to key in the property value. The particular file we're working on today, we're just going to go ahead and put in a loan amount of $250,000. You'll notice I didn't put any commas in, so you could just go ahead and type that data straight. You'll notice on the screen, you'll start noticing fields in black versus red. When you see the red fields, those are data fields that we need. So in this particular case, we're asking for the property value purchase price. This is the figure that we calculate your loan to value with. The other fields on this screen have to do with refinance scenarios. So again, also the collecting monthly mortgage payment, this is a data collection field. We calculate that information for you. original appraised value to figure out the mortgage insurance on the previous loan, as well as their current payoff. So have those fields here when you're doing a refinance. Moving to our next screen, our affordability. So this screen, you'll notice there's nothing in red. So if you're in a hurry and want to move on, you don't need to key anything in the screen. What I do want to show you is if you did put in a monthly amount for non-mortgage debt, so if I go ahead and put in $750 here, I'll just show you when we go into our products, we do provide you a debt to income ratio. You would also want to put in a current annual gross income, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in $95,000 here. The other item on the screen I want to go ahead and point out is the savings balance. If you do put in the savings balance, we do show in our reinvestment strategy screen the amount taken out of that savings balance for the cash to close. So if there's a conversation that you have with your consumer, you can go ahead and put that information in here, and then you'll be able to see if there's enough cash to close for that transaction. So let's go ahead and put in $20,000 here, so I'll be able to show you where that displays on the report. Again, it's not necessary, but you do have that option. So let's go ahead and put an interest rate of 0.25. We do have a tax bracket field. If you want to show the tax benefit, you can go ahead and put the tax bracket in here. If you're unsure of your tax bracket for the borrower, if you click on Find Tax Bracket, this will take you to a new screen, and a new tab will open up, and it will provide you a tax table where you could go ahead and identify their filing status as well as their tax year, and then get their tax bracket. I'm going to move back to Edge. And now with this, the last item on the screen is tax credits. If you press the tax credit, we do provide MCC tax credit. If you're using those particular type of loans, it's great to show on a report. If you want more information, you can always email us at support and we'll assist you with that. Our next screen in affordability, again, is data collection. It's just part of that conversation, asking about the payment, their ideal payment, the price range of the home. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and pass through this screen. It's not something I need for the report, and I want to move on. So now we're getting into the meat of our products. You see, we've already advanced through 4 screens rather quickly. Now we've come to our products. In our product section, we can add up to 4 products. So in today's scenario, we're going to do 2, but letting you know you can go ahead and create up to 4 loan comparisons. First place we're going to start is in our title. In the title area, you want to be able to name the product type. You need to limit it to 12 characters. So in this particular case, we're going to do our FHA product first. So I'm going to type in FHA, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in 3.5% and then down. What I always like to do, the title can be up to you what you want to key it in. I always try to tell what type of product it is, usually the percentage down. The term of the product does display on the report, so you don't need that in the title. But if you're comparing like 30-year, 20-year, 15, it's a good idea to put that in that title. Is the loan a refinance? We're keeping it as a no. And then we're coming to our add product from template. Let me show you how this works. You'll see in my drop down, I have a few templates that I've created. Once you create the template, these fields will go ahead and default for you, and we'll show you how that process works. I'm not going to choose a product template because I want to build everything from scratch and be able to build a product template with you. We do have a copy from button that I'll show you in a little bit that will help you be able to copy the products. It makes it really quick and easy once you've entered one loan scenario to key in another one through that copy button. We also have construction products you can do within Edge. We do have a button here just to be able to provide that information on the construction period. If you do construction loans and want some information about that, just email us at support and we'll be able to assist you. So now let's go ahead and key in our property price of $250,000. We do have a presentation where if they haven't settled on the price range of the home, each of these products can show different price ranges, so you'll be able to show on the different comparisons on that price range of the home and the different dollar amounts. So once you've keyed in the purchase price, we're now going to go for the down payment. You can either enter it as a dollar amount, but you'll see that button in the center. It's a currently is showing percentage. If you click on that, you'll notice that it'll open up the percentage field. So that's all that button does. It's just a toggle between the dollar amount and the percentage. So what I'd like you to do is type in 3.5 in the down payment percentage field, and you'll see that the system calculated the down payment as well as providing you that base loan amount. Let's key in 4.25 as our interest rate, and we're going to have our term at 360. You'll notice that the term is in months, so make sure you have it in months and not 30. We do ARM products just to show you how that process works. You can go ahead and click on the down arrow and see how you can change it to an ARM. And then the next screen will collect data for that ARM loan. So now as we advance to the right, you're going to notice in the upper right-hand corner here, a graph's going to start to build, plus we're going to have our DTI and loan-to-value ratio populate through. So you see we're starting our report, and we have our first graph built. So right now our payment is around, it's $1,186.80, but we haven't added our mortgage insurance to that payment. So we're going to, that's going to increase slightly because we do show the full pity payment here. So before we continue with the fees, I did notice one item that I forgot to do that I want to go ahead and show you. If you back arrow, one question I forgot to answer, is this a VA FHA program? You want to mark that as yes. And as soon as you do that, advance to the closing cost fee screen, and you notice the base of that screen now has an upfront MI field. So that's what the trigger for yes for FHA or VA will do for you, is provide this upfront field. This is for your VA funding fee, upfront MI. If you're doing single premium MI, you would want to use this field as well. Let's click on that percent sign and put in 1.75 for our upfront MI. And we're going to add it to the loan amount. So when we create our product template, this information is going to go ahead and default for us. So key that in so it'll be part of your product template. We have two ways of doing fees. You could do a lump sum of fees. So say roughly your APR fees are around $1,500. You quote 15 days per diem interest. You're going to collect escrows of about $1,200. That's your escrowed accounts. And your non-APR charges might be about $1,600, and if you had contributions. So this is one way to be able to provide your fees to the client. But another way to do it, you want to be able to itemize, and this way you provide transparency to the borrower. So if you click on the closing cost details, you'll see that we can start building your fee template. I'm going to show you in the upper right-hand corner in the drop-down, I do have a list of fees that I had created in the past, different templates. We're going to create a fresh template instead of pulling one down. If you're on an enterprise account, you might have some fee templates here as well. So if you want, you could go ahead and pull one of those down and be able to use that as a template. So to start creating our fee template, what you want to do is go ahead, and we have two buttons in green in the lower right. You have Add Fee and Add Custom Fee. So let's click on Add Fee a couple times. When creating a fee template, the best way of going about this is getting the fee worksheet from your LOS system. This fee sheet usually has the descriptions of your fee, the dollar amounts of your fee, as well as if the fee is an APR item or not. Once you have that fee sheet, then you just come over here and key in the items accordingly. What we're going to do here is just create a generic test template. I would like you to follow along with me. And this way I'll show you how to key in an APR fee, non-APR fee, a prepaid escrow, which is your reserves, as well as a contribution and a custom fee. So we've got a lot going on here, but it's actually quite simple as we go through and you'll be able to see. So the first thing we did, we added a couple line items for fees, and you'll notice in the drop-down we have quite a few fee lists listed here. We actually added quite a few more in this last week. So what I want to do is use a processing fee. So if you type the letter P, it drops you down to the list of P, and I'm going to choose processing fee. Once you have chosen your fee description, then you want to go ahead and identify that dollar amount. So let's say the processing fee is $400, And that fee is an APR fee. So I want to make sure that's marked as APR. And again, on your fee worksheet, it will usually identifies this. And if you want a list of the APR fees, if you email us at support, we could give you a general list of what is APR and non-APR. But it's always good to refer to your compliance department if you have any questions on a specific fee. You'll notice we have a column here, Add to Loan. If you click on this button here, it will go ahead and add that fee to loan amount. If you're creating fee templates and you do add fees to loan amount quite often, create a fee template for refinance and have this automatically marked so that way it speeds you up through that process. Last column here is PPE. What that stands for is prepaid escrow. And that would amount to any of your hazards or your taxes, any escrowed items. We have it marked as a PPE, and the reason for that is we exclude it in the short-term savings on our report because it's not a cost to the loan. At the base here, we do have a legend that will also describe what the PPE is as well as the other buttons. So now we just did a line item for an APR fee. So let's go ahead and do a line item for a non-APR fee. A good one there is an appraisal fee. And since we're already into the A's, let's go ahead and just use the scroll button toward the right and then choose appraisal fee. Let's go ahead and put in that amount at $495, and we're leaving it unmarked as an APR. What I also want to point out is we do have drop downs, and the drop down for the paid by will allow you to be able to identify if the fee is paid by the borrower, lender, or seller. So you'll be able to identify it that way or apply a contribution, which I'll show you further in the report. So now we've got APR fee, non-APR fee. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our prepaid escrow. Let's go ahead and type in H for hazard. We have the premium as well as the reserve. So I'm going to go ahead and click on reserves for this particular scenario. With the reserves, if you're creating a template, you want to go ahead and leave this empty here. But otherwise, you would just go ahead and fill in the amount. You'll notice that the percentage field is grayed out, and the reason for that is because when we use the percentage field here, it does go off the base loan amount, and we want to be able to at least identify that to you. And the reason for that is because you're in the screen and these fees have not been added to loan if you were adding them to the loan amount. So the calculation goes off the base loan amount, so just want to make you aware of that. This is one way of doing hazard insurance for your reserves. And you just come back in here, you key in your 2 months each time. But if you like, I could go ahead and show you how you'll be able to provide a calculation. If you want to be able to learn that now, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll take a couple minutes showing you. It'll be able to take the annual percentage, say you have 2 months hazard, and be able to make it automatic. And if you don't do it today, that's great, and you want more information about that, email us at support. It's quite simple to be able to create. So we are showing our hazard reserves here. Now let's go ahead and add another line item, and let's go ahead and type C, and we're going to go ahead and put in county taxes. You'll notice both these fees are marked PPE. And you notice I haven't filled in any dollar amount yet, and that's the reason for that is I want to create my fee template first. That way these fees are variables because they are listed at 0. They are variables from loan to loan type, so you want to leave it empty. So now I want to show you how to use the custom fee screen. So as you're going through this process and you're looking through your fees, and possibly there is a fee that's not listed that you use, and you want your fee description. It's quite simple. Just go ahead and click on Add Custom Fee. Go ahead and put in your custom fee label. I'm just putting it as a fee test so I'd be able to identify it later. Sometimes settlement fee, I haven't looked at the updated list. Settlement fee wouldn't be in there, or escrow fee, I should say. So you can always type in that. Then identify if you're using the percentage, do you want to use it off the loan amount or property value? And if it's an APR item or prepaid escrow. So this is how you go ahead and create that process. Once you press OK, it is now in your drop down. It's at the very base of your list in the drop-downs. You don't have to create it again, so you can just go ahead and select it. So that's how you create a fee, a custom fee label, and then be able to have it automatically marked for an APR or prepaid escrow. So now I want to show you contributions. So right now you have the tools to be able to create a fee template by creating a custom fee, APR, non-APR fee, as well as prepaid escrows. So now to work with our contribution, click on Add Fee, and let's type in C and look for the word contribution. We have logic built in behind this field, and with that, you'll notice at the base here, with the fees that I've keyed in, I have a borrower paid $1,323. So say I'm going to provide a contribution of $1,000. I enter it as a positive amount. You'll notice that the borrower paid fees just was reduced by that $1,000, and now it says that the lender is paying the $1,000. You can always change that and identify if the seller's picking up that amount or providing that contribution. So that is one way to provide your contribution listed on the system. So remember, that one is the one we have logic behind. You can enter as a positive and show who it's being paid by. Sometimes people want to create their own custom label, and that's fine too, but let me show you how that process works. We're going to add a custom fee, and I'm going to call this one seller contribution because I just want the word seller in front of it. Contribution. There we go. And then again, if you want to go on the loan amount or the property value. So I press OK. So now that's in my drop downs at the very base. And with this, because there's no logic, you just created that field. So you're going to have to enter that as a negative. So if I go ahead and enter this as negative 500, it's now going to offset my borrower fees, and I have to leave it paid to the borrower because of that. There's no logic behind it, and if I wanted to offset a fee, I need to offset the borrower costs. So two ways to be able to do that. Just want to be able to show it to you. Again, you want more information on that, email us at support. We'll be able to go through that. If you have any questions on the fees, go ahead and put it in that question bar, and I'll go ahead and respond to those questions. So what I'm going to do here is going to remove the fee, and to do that, you just press the trash can, and that removes it from that screen here. So now we're done. I'm going to remove my $1,000 out of my contribution real quick because I want to save my template. So let's go ahead. At the very bottom, it says Save as Template. Click on that. And I'm just going to label mine fee, and I'm putting in today's date. The reason for that is I have a few fee templates, and I want to identify the one for you for today. If you're doing a conventional fee, you can always put in conventional fee, FHA fees, whatever you may like for that template. If you're originating in more than one state, you would be able to identify the state here and create fee templates based on state testing. Once I press OK, you'll see that that fee template is now saved in my drop-down. If you had applied a state before you go in to select your template, you would identify the state here, and then only the fee templates assigned to that state, and some that are assigned to that have no testing will display. So it narrows the list down a little bit. So once we have our template just created, now I'm going to go ahead and put in some figures. So my hazard insurance reserves, I'm going to go ahead and put in $600. Property tax, let's put in $1,250. Fee test, let's go ahead and just put in $895. I just need to put some fees in here. And then lastly, a contribution, so I'll be able to show you how that process works. Let's go ahead and put that as $1,000. Okay. Okay, so once you have everything set, I'm leaving it as the seller's picking up my contribution. Now let's go ahead and apply that to the loan. So once you press apply to loan, it will total those fees, total all the APR fees together, place them in the APR field, prepaid escrow field, non-APR costs, contributions. So you see them all here. If you ever need to make an update to any of those numbers, you'll need to go ahead and go back into the closing cost details and make your updates. I'm pressing the cancel because I haven't changed anything and I want to leave it the way it was. Otherwise, I'd press apply to loan. Now we come to our monthly cost screen. So in our monthly cost screen, you'll be able to use the percentage buttons here. So I'm going to go ahead, depending on your area. If you're on the East Coast, I know it's a little more difficult because of the different counties and different tax percentages. But I'm in California, and ours are pretty much set. I'm going to go ahead and put in 0.35% just to be able to show you how that process works, and it will calculate my monthly amount. Taxes, I'm going to go ahead and put in 1.25% and calculates that monthly amount. These percentages will be able to be part of that product template we're creating. So again, it will speed you up through that process. We do have another field here that you could go ahead and apply another monthly cost if you have that. We also have a workaround for Debt Consult that we use that field for. So if you're doing those type of loans, you're curious about how to use it, email us at support and we'll help you out here. Now let's work on our mortgage insurance. And this is great. This is why you want to build your product template so you don't have to key this in each time. Because we're doing 3.5% down on our FHA, the MI factor is 1.35%. So click on that percent button and let's go ahead and key in 1.35. You'll see the monthly amount went ahead and calculated for us. And then the next piece, you'll see these these buttons that just appear below that MI factor. You want to click on Calc MI on balance. What this will do is provide you the declining MI balance that is needed on FHA and USDA loans. And your MI carries for the life of the loan. And to do that, you need to put in 360 in the MI cutoff field. This will tell the system to carry the MI for 360 months before it'll ever look at that LTV percentage cutoff. Because it's going for the life of the loan, it will never check out that 78%. If you have any questions on that, let me know, but that's how you set up the mortgage insurance. When we do our conventional product, you'll be able to see how the conventional product's MI is set up. If you're doing a second lien, you would just mark yes, and then when you advance the screen, you're picking up information for the second lien. I put it back on no, and we're going to go ahead and add another product. So click on the green button, add another product. And let's put in the title here. You'll see on the right, I have FHA 3.5% down. To make it consistent, I'm going to go ahead and put in conventional 5% down. No, it's not a refi. And let's check out our product template. I should have that listed in here. Oh, I didn't save it. Okay, let's go ahead and save a product template. Before we do this, back a screen. Let's save our template. See the button, Save as Template? Completely missed it last time. And then it's going to come out and put in your name for your template. So it just copied my title of my product, which is fine for me. I want to keep it this way. And I'm pressing OK. That's all it was to build that template. So you can build more templates as you build products. You create a new product, save it as a template. Use it for future loans. So now when we go into our second product and I go into that product template, you'll be able to see my 3.5% down right here. I should have put a date by it so it's a little bit easier for you to identify. But we have that listed here. And you'll see all my information populated down. But I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that, everyone. So what you want to do, we're actually going to override this as we go through, but you can get an idea what those templates did. It just went ahead and provided me that 3.5%. We haven't cleaned up our product template, so in that particular case, it brought my interest rate as well as my term. So what we want to do is go ahead and put in the purchase price of $250. I want to change my down payment to 5% down. You'll see the system recalculate that amount. And let's increase the interest rate to 4.75%. So once you're done with that screen, we're going to advance to the right. And because I pulled that template, sorry, it's a little bit extra, but now you see how the templates work, all my fees carried over. Also my upfront MI. And what we need to do is remove this figure. And this is a good way to be able to show you how the system works. So you see the 1.75 and the dollar amount. You notice I'm not deleting this. Let's go back to the left and let's mark it no as an FHA. Once I move to the right, that has been removed. Even that dollar amount, it's just unseen. So it is not part of the file anymore. So if you modify things, if you add a second lien, remove the second lien. Don't remove your data, because if you want to put it back, it's a great way of doing it. You can add it and then take it away. So it's not part of the file, that upfront MI, just be able to see that. So now let's go to our closing cost details. This is the template we created. If you go up into your drop-down, pick the fee template that you created today, and it will carry all that information over. You notice that all my numbers here were removed because I pulled down my template. So then at this point, you could go ahead and key in that information. So 600 for reserves. I can't remember my numbers. 1,200 here. Let's put 895 in the fee test, and contributions I had as 1,000. So you'll be able to modify your template, and then after this product, I'm also going to show you another way of doing a copy from. It's similar to that template where everything is populates for you. It's a little quicker way of moving through the screens as well. So once you're done with your fees, either go and get a new fee template, use the one you already created. Once you're finished, you just press Apply to Loan. Now we're moving to the right into our monthly costs. And let's go ahead and with our hazard insurance, put in our 0.35, property tax of 1.25. And now with our mortgage insurance, what we want to do is press the percent sign. And in this instance, I'm putting 0.97. You'll notice it did come up, calculate MI on balance. This is not an FHA loan, so make sure that is not marked. I also want to remove that 360 because if I don't, it's carrying that mortgage insurance for 30 years. And on conventional loans, it does drop at the 78% LTV. So remove that MI cutoff month. So now what the system is providing you MI until the loan reaches 78%, and then it will cut off from the loan. And you can follow along with me on this third product, or you could just go ahead and watch. I'm going to remove it from the report. It's more of a tool to show you a couple items. So let me go through this. I'm just going to put this as, I should have just left it as product 3 because I'm going to remove it from the report. To show you how you'll be able to move quickly, if you use that copy from button, it shows the different products that you're creating. So if you're creating a report that is a cost of weight, which is basically today's interest rate, and then you increase it a little bit to show what the future might hold. You want to, it's the same product, the only thing different is the interest rate. So if you click on conventional 5%, I press OK. It took everything we had for the 5% down. It has my 4.75 rate. So in this particular case, I want to go ahead and bump it a percentage. Everything else is the same, so I wouldn't even touch my fees because it's the same product. And same with my monthly cost, I want to change it as well. So that's really quick using that copy from button. I want to be able to show it to you. So as you're building these products, it's really quick to use another product you already created to create your second product. Now we're done creating our 3 products, and we're coming to our analysis screen. In our analysis screen here, you'll be able to customize your report. You have a property appreciation rate, and we automatically put in 3%. You can put in whatever percentage it is in your area. I'll show you on the report where this will display. You can also show 0 if you do not want to show that on your report. So I'm going to put in 3%. We have our short-term and our long-term months. Our short-term is the lower left-hand corner of the report. Long-term is the lower right. You'll be able to identify it once you start talking to the client, find out how long they're going to be in their house. They might say between 36 months, but we plan to be moving by 7 years. You can change the graphs in those long-term and short-term areas to show their, what's our, don't put 84, be able to show their long-term goals and short-term goals. So you have those areas there. We also have benchmarks. If you click on the benchmark, you could go ahead and we compare against the highest payment, which happens to be my third product. But if I wanted to compare against the FHA, I select it, and you see how now Those other two products are comparing against the FHA product. When you're doing refinances, you want to come in here and just make sure that your benchmark is comparing against the current mortgage. Now in the lower right-hand side, we have the total interest and MI paid. Be able to show that. A lot of consumers, that's what they understand. You're doing showing total net worth. That also takes that property appreciation rate into effect. You'll be able to show them the net worth of the home or how much principal paid. So you have all three of those options. And when you start learning Edge and you'll be able to do Edge Live, you can go talk to the consumer and be able to show them all three of those while you're on the phone with them. Their report will update. So Edge Live is a wonderful tool to be able to provide that communication to the consumer. Clicking on the Adjust Reinvestment Strategy button, just to touch on this a bit, this is where you'd be able to apply additional amount of money toward principal. So if I did $100 toward this FHA loan, you'll notice that the freedom point changed. So applying to $100 each month instead of a 30-year, they'll have a little less than a 26-year loan to pay off. I also want to be able to show you, if you double click on that field, you'll be able to reinvest your mortgage insurance. You'll see at the base here, and this, I should use the conventional one. Just a moment, let's double click on that one. At the end of 115 months, there's no longer MI, and you can reinvest the MI back into this principal. So I want to be able to show you that. We have a great video tutorial. You can always email us support wanted to know a little bit more information about that. So we have principal at the top. You also have the capabilities of applying it to a savings account or an investment account. You'll see that $20,000 that I put in the savings account carried through to this Adjust Reinvestment Strategy. You'll see how it subtracts out the cash to close and starts you with a savings balance. So this is where that information comes in. It's not necessary to key in, but it shows you where it's at. So moving on, we're coming to our contact screen. In our contact screen, we do not send anything physically out through Edge. If you put in this contact information, it's for your information only. Key in the email address. If you have a co-borrower, you have an area here for your co-borrower's information. And property address. You can go ahead and key in your property address in this area, and it will display on the report. You can always leave it empty, or you can always put in to be determined if you're not quite sure. Moving to the right, we have our select presentation screen. And in here, we're doing the total cost analysis. You have a choice to do a seller buy down. If you want to check out your amortization schedule, you have the option to do so here. Now toward the bottom, you'll see the different products displayed with checkboxes. This is where I'm removing my product from the report. I don't want to show that product number 3. By unchecking the box, it will not display on my report. Now we have a payment note section down at the base. In this area, it's a compliance piece, and it provides you information on the report. You want to put in something like estimated taxes and insurance. Sorry, I can't talk and type. Estimated taxes and insurance are included in your payment. When you key something like this in, if you're not doing insurance, you would say not included in my payment. This will apply 2 double asterisks on the report next to your payment, and under the summary area, it will supply this information. You also have a little bit extra spaces here to be able to add any additional notes. If you're doing marketing reports, want to just really show the difference of mortgage insurance, don't really want to put your fees in there, put a little note in here, fees omitted purposely. So you have little areas to work with that payment notes, and when we look at the report, I'll be able to show you where that displays. These next 3 screens is just another way of reviewing the report before we get to the final screen. Another way to do it is hover your mouse over presentation and go directly up and select preview. So if I back an arrow, you'll see this is my last screen, same kind of thing. You can modify the text here in the more info button. That's what it's allowing you to do. And I'll show you again on the report. In the email link, you're able to print as well as save the PDF. So preferably, it's the best way is to go through the email link for your whole process here. Notify me when this report is viewed. That's providing you your email alert, which looks just like this. Let's pull it over. I'm sorry, I can't seem to get this moved over for you, but you'll get an email alert that tells you the date and time of the email, how long it was viewed, a link to the report. This way, once the borrower closes out the report, you're able to give them reach out with a call and answer any questions. If you had put in the email for your partner, if you click that box, they're going to receive that email alert as well. Call Me Now button is a click-to-call feature that we have on our reports. It's more for a lead capture, and we'll show you that when we get into the report. Lastly, quote date. Let's go ahead and click on the calendar and put in today's date. And let's do a quick preview, and let's take a look at our report we just created. So you'll see we have both products side by side. You have your FHA and your conventional. And if you see, I'm highlighting the different fields. And the way you do that is just take your mouse over a field, left click. It will highlight that field. If you're on the product title and left click, it highlights the whole product itself. So this is great, again, using Edge Live. You could walk the consumer through your conversation and be able to identify the cash to close. And by highlighting, it will highlight on the consumer's report as well. If I go ahead and click on the More Info, you'll notice my graphs down at the base here. It seems a little small. It's because I'm not in full screen mode. And if I went ahead and pulled it out and did it, you would have more of a display. But because I am making my screen smaller for you to view, I'm in a small screen mode. It tends to just make everything a little bit smaller here. F11 also brings it to full screen mode too, if you ever notice that on your computer. It's usually when you're working with a smaller screen, you'll get that. So real quick, taking a look, if you click on the payment screen button, this is telling me I've done my FHA MI correctly because I have an MI for the life of the loan. When you send your links over to us, that's one thing we do look at. So that's a quick way to make sure you have all that mortgage insurance because it is part of your APR. So if that's not correct, your APR will be a little bit low. Here's your MI. You notice how it's not carrying for the life of the loan here. So that way I know they're done correctly. Click on the More Info button. This is where you have information about your payment breakdown. You have your price value of the home, the P&I payment of the property plus your monthly costs, as well as your total pity payment. In the closing cost screen, you have your down payment or your equity if it's a refi, your loan to value ratio, and then you see it looks very similar to the fee screen. We do provide the lump sum totals of those fees, but we also provide a fee detail with all those breakdowns. Moving to the reinvestment strategy screen, if we had left our information for the reduction of principal, it would be right here, same with your freedom point. You notice I'm highlighting in here. You use the reinvestment strategy screen, definitely come in here and highlight the areas. It would just help assist them looking at that data a lot easier. Now closing out that More Info button, let's move to the upper right hand corner, and what all this is doing is providing your monthly costs. So it'll just provide each for the breakdown. You'll see the property appreciation rate displays here. If I have a second lien, that information will appear at the base. Now moving over to our savings in our short-term area. This is, I'm going to review it with you. This is a little bit different. We're showing the unrecoverable costs of the loan. A lot of people will take the 46, times it by 36, assuming that would be the total. But what we do, if you click on the More Info button, it will provide you the details. What we do is we calculate the mortgage insurance and interest for that 36 months. We add to it the closing costs, and then we total each of those, and then we do our comparison. So these are the unrecoverable costs, and which one do you save more with. So you'll have that. If you had your tax benefit, it will go ahead and display in this area and adjust with those numbers. So I always like, when I'm sending a report, I like highlighting these fields again because they'll be able to see the math and be able to direct them to it and understanding that piece. Moving to the lower right-hand side, that's our long-term area that we're showing 60 years. 60 years the loan is paid off. Sorry, guys. Now I know why that field did it. I was in months, not years. So anyhow, I could go ahead and readjust that shortly. But home value, that's where that property appreciation rate. So at the end of that 30 years, that home value went ahead and increased to that amount. It will also, if I had the correct way, and you know what, let's just go correct this real quick, and then you can sort of see how Edge Live does. So let me close out of that, click into Edge real quick. I'm moving to my analysis screen. That's where my data was. So let's go ahead and put in 15 in this area. And I'm actually going to put my short term at 60. I like those numbers better. So now if I go back to my end, I'm just going to go ahead and click on my presentation. And I don't know if you caught that, probably not, but it's as soon as I opened up the report, it updated with the 60, it updated with the 15. That's the dynamic of sending the link. You wouldn't be able to make that change that quick if you send a PDF or printed a copy. So the link is valuable for making any kind of updates for the consumer. So now let's look at that more info button. You'll be able to see the home value now. It's a lot better. It's a little bit more realistic. You'll be able to see that loan balance at the end of the 15-year period, which is also a nice piece to be able to show your borrower. Total principal and total interest and mortgage insurance paid. So with that, you have your information on the long-term area. So now it broke it down briefly on the report. Again, in that knowledge base, we do have it. We break it down better or a little bit longer, understanding each of the piece. And I encourage you to watch that video to understand how it works. Lastly, if you go to the very bottom right, we have a print button. If you click on that, you'll be able to print a hard copy of the report. And the more info buttons goes ahead and prints here as well as your fees. You have the same option to save it as a PDF in that lower right-hand corner as well. It'll have the information and also your disclaimer language, and it'll be down there. So now let's go back to Edge, and you want to click Generate Link. When you click that link, you would want to go ahead and copy, and you would paste that link into your email. So what I would like you to do is go ahead and open up an email, and I'll wait, and I would like you to copy that link, paste it in the body of your email, address it to support@mortgagecoach.com. I'm also putting that in the chat bar. And then in the title, just say review. And then we'll go ahead and review it and provide that information to you and give you some feedback. So once you have done that, go ahead and press send and send that to our support. We'll go ahead and do the review. So now what you want to do, we have Edge Live, and Edge Live is the same as your preview button. It will just go ahead and open a report for you. You'll be able to highlight. That's how you communicate with consumers, having a preview or an Edge Live report open. Let's go ahead and add an audio or video. So go ahead and click on it. You'll notice in the lower right-hand side is a record message button. So click on that. I'm going to allow my camera, and there we are. Hi everyone, I'm Lori, providing you your Edge training. So what you would like to do is make sure you do some eye contact with the video. Introduce yourself, provide a little bit about the loan options that you're providing them, and make sure you do a call of action. So letting them do that next step. So as you're working in, if you're a little uncomfortable, we do have a place where you can do an audio only, but definitely work and try to understand putting in that video on there, because it's a very impactful piece for your consumer, opening the report and getting a great message from you, and then being able to take that message, and anyone who sees the report will also get that message. So your message is being sent, passed along, but it's not by word of mouth. They'll be able to see it and watch it as well. If you're not comfortable with the video, we do have audio only. You'll see the button at the very base there. It says record audio only. You could go ahead and do that. Definitely put a message on it. It's a great piece. Also at the very bottom, I want to point out clear all button. That clear all button is only on your preview and Edge Live, and what that does is just remove all the highlights rather quickly. Going back to our Edge account, so now what we have done, we showed you how to send the link, add a video. We're not going through Edge Live. That will be on a different time period. Now we're finished with the report. You can send it off and you're set. What I want to do now is just quickly go through our settings. I know we're coming to the end. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer. You have your contact information. Once you click on settings, update your information here. If you update it, make sure you press that save in the lower right hand corner. Images, you want to upload your image as well as your logo. If you're on an enterprise account, your logo most likely will be already loaded for you. You'll see how mine is. It's blocked, so I can't upload it. That's because my enterprise account has done that for me. Click on the fee tab. You'll see all the different fees I've created. So right here we have today's fee template. If you click on it, you can make any kind of updates that you want to be able to do. This is where you do it, or add new fee. Then that template, the next time you use it, will have those modifications. You can see how you can click on any of these other fee templates we have. Going to product templates. This is the one I had created earlier today. I forgot to put in today's date, so I'm going to go ahead and do so now, just so I have a reference. What I want to do is to show you how, if you're watching, this is definitely want to modify this slightly. Interest rate, it's such a variable on my loans, I want to remove it. You can keep it there. You can always override it when you bring it down. See my upfront upfront mortgage insurance, the 1.75 defaulted for me. Let's check out our monthly costs. These percentages went ahead and calculated. These dollar amounts won't be there. I just have it cashed right now. But if you wanted to clean it out, you just go ahead and do that. But definitely have this all prepped. I have my MI all set. I'm going into my closing cost details. If you have a template, you could tie your template to your product template. It really speeds your whole process up in creating a report. And I'll show you real quickly in just a moment. So you can create as many templates, your ARM products, FHA, VA, all the templates can be in here. Also on the fee templates, I want to show you if you're creating fee templates, you want to create them real quick, we have a Save As button that will let you do a copy. So if you create one template, you can go ahead and copy, modify, and update it and create more fee templates. We have a report template tab. If you need to modify the disclaimer text, let me show you on the report. That's at the very bottom, the disclaimer text right here. You'd be able to do that in Edge. You'll be able to modify it in this area. You'll notice I have a font call, so I just want to put that note, point that out to you. If it's a little bit long, you can reduce it a little bit. Just email us at support will assist you. Edit extended disclaimer allows you to provide more disclaimer text as well as providing any kind of licensing information. And that primarily covers everything to create an Edge report. What I do want to bring your attention to is our Thursday trainings. Our Thursday trainings go into Edge and a little bit more complex. Be able to show you more of the additional tools that we have within Edge, the copy features, all the different types of marketing reports. If you want to see a report yourself created, if you email us at support, we'll go ahead and put that on there. Also on the Thursday calls, we take any kind of questions at all, and this is your hour to learn Edge, so we accommodate you. We also have Tuesday coaching calls. You'll be able to go ahead and click on here, be able to see that. And lastly, let me just open one more tab for you, is our Mortgage Coach webpage. I want to be able to show this to you so that way you'll be able to see. I'm putting it in the chat box. If you go to Community tab, and you go into Edge Hall of Fame. These are our members who have created different reports for us. If you want to get an idea how other people are using it, come in here. These have video, audio messages. You'll be able to see the different types of report styles that are created and get an idea of how to be able to use Edge. So we have that here, and just like our knowledge base, we do have our coaching call archive here, where you can listen to it. Today's call will be posted right here. It's Edge for Basics. You'll be able to listen to it again. And all the different coaching calls and such. I'd like to thank you for attending today. This is your start of your education. So please get back into Edge. Create this report. Again, just keep it simple. Just learn the different keystrokes. These same keystroke product templates, fee templates work the same as with the open house flyer. So everything you use today can be worked with any type of report style within Edge. If you have any questions, please email us at support@mortgagecoach.com. Thank you again for attending. Enjoy your day.